Okay, let's move on to the next 8x8 deal that was given out like candy.
Yeah.
Jordan Kyrou signs to the St. Louis Blues. I'll let you start off with this. What do you think?
Yeah, so if I had questions about, or not questions, but then came around to thinking 8 million was good for Stützle, 8 million is 100% worth it for Jordan Kyrou.
Way
was
better.
A beast last season. I think he was just over a point a game or just at a point a game. I think he had 27 goals on a team where they had like 920 goal scorers, which is still crazy to me. And he's just really good. He's so dynamic. He's a great skater, great off the rush, and he's a guy who can shoot and he can pass. He's a threat on both sides and on both, I guess, areas of offense. I think the Blues actually did really well here to get him for that number, considering that he's already kind of a star. I wouldn't say he's a superstar, but he's a star.
I couldn't agree more. I thought that this signing would have been slightly undervalued before the Stützle signing. He signed after Stützle, right?
I think they might have been like a day or two apart, yeah.
If he signed after, which I think that he did, I can't believe they didn't renegotiate the deal at the last second. Because if he's going, Tim Stützle is getting 8x8, and I'm not getting like 8x9 in a bit, I don't understand.
Yeah.
When you look at this guy's stats, they're insane. The dude knows how to finish. He's in like the 92nd percentile of expected finishing and the 97th percentile of goals per 60. And the reason why I bring up these stats is I don't care what anyone says. The hardest and most important skill in the NHL is to score goals.
Scoring goals.
It's very difficult to find a guy that can score goals day in and day out. Jordan Kyrou at a very young age put up 27 goals last year. I think he had 75 points in 74 games.
Yeah.
Those guys are diamonds in the rough. Okay, diamonds in the rough. This 8x8 you see being given out more and more to types of players who, like the Stützles, the Hugheses, the Fialas, and now the Kyrous, that are phenomenal offensively and don't play very well defensively. It seems like the very new age of prospects aren't great defensively, but maybe they need time to grow into one of those types of players. If those guys got 8x8, I would take Jordan Kyrou at 8x9. I think Jordan Kyrou is a better player than Stützle. I think he's a better player than Fiala. I don't think he's a better player than Jack Hughes, but he has the potential to be a phenomenal player.
So what? I think he's our age. He's 98.
Yeah, and when you say off the rush, you couldn't have hit the nail on the head better. Like zone entries and zone exits, 93rd percentile, pass entries, 90th percentile, carry entries, 94th percentile. The dude off the rush is dangerous.
Because he's rapid.
Right? And what that means is that he's not only a threat to score goals, he makes players that are on his line who aren't as great as the play drivers better too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know who he played with last year, but I think it was Buchnevich. Okay. And Buchnevich had a fantastic
great
year.
season.
And a lot of that goes out to Jordan Kyrou. The guy is great everywhere. And it's not like the Tim Stützle contract where you go, we're reasonably confident that he will be a point-per-game player, so we're going to give him point-per-game player money. He's already there.
He is a point-per-game player.
And he has a chance to turn into a 90-point player. I don't understand how they got him for that cheap, especially after they were going to shop him out.
For Tkachuk,
right? I wonder if I was Jordan Kyrou, I would say like screw that. Yeah. Give me 10 now.
Yeah, I think on a side note, I think a lot of these GMs are as much as the flat cap sucks in terms of like building your teams. It definitely makes their job harder, but I think a lot of these GMs are gonna look very good for these contracts because they're getting bargain deals because there's just no money. Like Kyrou can want 10, but if they literally don't have $10 million in cap space, he can't get 10.
That's fair.
So I think a lot of these GMs are gonna like the flat cap is saving these GMs from themselves because they love to throw money around. I think a lot of them are gonna look, especially on these long-term deals, are gonna look really good, and that's not necessarily because they're good at their job. It's just the circumstances are that they can only spend a certain amount of money, and so you have to squeeze these kinds of guys.
Yeah, it's like not even that they have leverage. They just literally go like, here's the transparency of our balance sheet. We can't give you this money.
Like maybe on another day in 2 years I would give you more, but I literally can't give you more than 8. So take it or leave it.
That's a good point because for the longest time, in free agency, deals were being overpaid. Yeah. I remember the Artemi Panarin deal. Like, okay, granted, he put up 93 points last year, but he got 11 million at a time. He hadn't cracked 90 at the JVR deal.
JVR deal was.
There were a lot of bad deals. My mind is blanking, but the point is that, like you said, a lot of times, like you overpay in free agency. And granted, he's an RFA, but this is an underpay.
This is an underpay, like because of circumstances, which I mean it helps the teams. And then in 3 years when the cap goes up and he's making $8 million, scoring 30 goals and putting up like 85 points, then it's a hell of a bargain.
So here's the question I have for you now. The St. Louis Blues are currently operating with Buchnevich, Thomas, Tarasenko line 1, Sad, O'Reilly, Kyrou line 2. I think they got Krug, Peryanko, then Binnington, and then literally nobody else.
Yeah.
Are they good enough to win a cup? Like, can they do damage?
Well, their team's largely the same from last season, right?
Yeah.
Almost the same, exactly the same, just without Husso.
Yeah.
So if Binnington can be not like terrible Binnington who swings his stick at people's heads and tries to pick fights and he doesn't actually fight, if he can be a good goalie, which I think he can, then yeah, I think it's really like, of course, I'm stating the obvious. It's dependent on goaltending. But they push the Avs to 6 games, which is something that not a lot of other teams can say.
And it was a goal away from being 7.
Yeah,
Remember,
that's right.
Darren Helm scored that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they're probably the second best team in the Central, because I don't think the Wild are going to be as good as they were last year. I think the Blues were already second in the Central last year. So I think they're still the second best team in the Central. If they can avoid Colorado for as long as possible, I think they do have a chance to make a push.
Yeah, they definitely have a chance to make a push, but the problem is that are they better than Colorado? No. Are they better than Tampa Bay? Probably not. Are they better than the Leafs? Probably not. Are they better than Edmonton? I don't know.
I don't know. Edmonton's they're good.
Are they
as much as it pains me to say it?
Are they objectively better than Calgary right now? Probably not.
I think we have to wait and see about Calgary.
Right? So like the thing is that there are just so many teams on paper that are like slightly better. I don't know. I don't know. And like you said, it is very contingent on Jordan Binnington. Jordan Binnington, when they went on that run, he was a rookie.
Unbelievable.
He was like Vezina good.
He was so good, and then he wasn't good at all.
It was terrible.
And now they put all their eggs into the Binner basket. So if he isn't good, they're screwed. But I think Binnington's also like a Johnny Quick, where he sucks in the regular season, but if you get him to the playoffs, he like flips a switch and becomes God.
That's fair. For reference, Craig Berube openly loves Jordan Binnington,
I mean,
and he was so bad that he lost his job to a Ville Husso, who I don't think Craig Berube liked very much.
Well, I think he was probably reluctant. Like, if you like a guy that much and you have to give his roster spot up, he has to be really bad.
And that's what I mean. That's how bad he was. I remember when that deal was signed 4x3 after they won the cup as a rookie, and he had like a 935 in the playoffs. Everyone was like, "That's like I can't believe." And then
goalies are voodoo. Like, people say that all the time. They're so variable. Like it's hard to put a number on that. I think that's why goalies are starting to get paid less and less, because it's like you can be good and then tomorrow you can forget how to stop a puck. It's really weird.
Very true. I do think, like you said, the St. Louis Blues are built in the way that they're playoff gritty. They definitely have a chance to win. I would put them in like the A tier type teams. Like, they're not an S tier type team. They have an outside shot at winning. They got to get hot at the right time. And I remember last year, the last 20 games of the season, they were the best team in the league.
They were unreal.
I think losing Perron hurts a bit too.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Is Barbashev still there?
Barbashev is still there. So we will see. The last question I want to ask you about Jordan Kyrou is, I talked about this a bit with JT Miller. But JT Miller never really was involved in an objective trade package that everybody knew about. Jordan Kyrou, I think, was put into a package with a first-round pick, I believe a third-round pick, and another player for Matthew Tkachuk. It was very open about it. Trey Living came on and said that wasn't enough, got declined, and then the Blues say, "Okay, we got to keep you. We'll give you 8 in a bit." Does that do something to a player?
It could. Like, I don't know how I would react, but I'd be like, "Damn, you guys were ready to kick me out."
That's what I mean. Like, from his perspective, he's going, "I wasn't good enough to be traded, so they want to keep me now and give me like they have to keep me." Yeah.
I don't know if it is a business at the end of the day. Like, if you can get objectively better, you have to try. But I don't know. I think it really depends on the player. I feel like some players are like, "Oh yeah, now I'm gonna stick it to you," and some players are like, they kind of messes with their psyche and they don't feel wanted. And if you don't feel wanted, it can understandably affect your performance. So I think it depends. I expect Jordan Kyrou to be a beast next year.
I agree, and I guess it makes it glaringly clear with this is that you're right. The NHL is such a business where no matter if you are touted as a franchise type player, if they have a chance to put you in a deal for a better player, you're going to get traded.
That's the job of the GM, as tough as it is.
I guess it's true that there is only one untradeable player in the NHL, and that is the best player in the league, Connor McDavid. And a lot of people might say, yeah, no, Cale Makar is untradeable. Never going to happen. But if they go 1-for-1 Makar for McDavid, obviously
Everyone's
make the deal,
doing that.
right?
You have to. Yeah.
I guess there is really only one untradeable player in the NHL.
On a side note, if I was a Flames GM, I mean, I know they got Uyghur, but I would take Kyrou over Huberdeau, probably right now. Not right now, but also right now and in the future, because they're 7 years apart.
100%. If you're saying for 1 year, obviously Huberdeau's a better player, but for longevity wise, this 8x8 is way better than that 8x10.5.
10.5. That's so
I think
much.
I think Kyrou at 8x8 is better than Huberdeau at 8x8.
Yeah, because of their age.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content. And find the link to our full podcast and all our socials in the description down below.
Also, don't forget to turn on those notifications to get live updates on new videos that we release.